Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Good evening. Can you hear me? Yes. It's wonderful to be back together. We welcome everyone who's joined us here in person, and hello those joining us virtually. I don't want to forget them. It's a lovely, albeit a little warm here in West Michigan.
A little bit.
Nothing like what I'm used to in Kansas City, but I don't live there anymore.
Good point.
I don't live there.
Now you're here. Shocking, I know.
It is really a wonderful opportunity to come together, and tonight I want to invite everybody to try to make Shabbat a different day. Let us take a moment to leave the work week behind before we enter our sanctuary. Last week is now in the past, and we cannot change it, but we can certainly learn from it and find better ways of do whatever we find more fulfilling in the week ahead. Those of you here in person have noticed that we have moved the chairs a bit. I think this setup might be more conducive for bringing close each other. Now, the cantor and I are trying to find what works for us as a community. And I recognize every week I'm going to say this in one way or another, that change is difficult. But we are going to ask you to refrain from moving the chairs.
Please.
It hasn't happened yet, but I'm just saying. In my previous congregation, I used to have every Friday I will say something about why people are not sitting in the front row. It will come, but thank you. You will get a special thank you for sitting in the first 2 rows on every Shabbat.
I promise you it's not a splash zone. Please feel free to come on up. And also, I know him well enough, I think that I can say this, that we don't bite much. And I'm always good about this. If I'm going to bite, I'll always give a nibble first so you know what's going to happen. But please, come on up. If you feel so comfortable doing so, it's where the fun happens.
Now, we do ask one more thing, that you wait after Shabbat. Take your time to share anything about the service, especially what you like about the service. This is serious stuff.
It is. At the same time, the way you phrased it was wonderful.
We really mean that we want to do this together, and we need your help as we experience Shabbat. Can try to experience letting go of judging, kvetching, anger, discontent, the room being too cold, the room being too warm, the cantor being not loud enough, too loud.
That's
whatever it is that makes you think about anything that is not being fully present in the moment. Try to find one thing meaningful, and it would be different for every person. It would be different every week. We want you to join us in our readings, in our chanting, in our singing, in our movements, and our silences. Remember, we're not doing responsive readings anymore, but I wouldn't notice if you do, right? Because I keep going.
That's true.
Let us usher Shabbat, rejoice in it, learn and remember. We are in this together to serve the divine and to embrace our people and our traditions from our special, unique place.
If I may add just one small
Please.
thing to help bring us into this moment. If you haven't already, please do feel free to pick up a copy of our Siddur in the back. Yes, you can call me Vanna. And also, as a technologically inclined person myself, I always remind myself to do this, and I encourage you to do the same as well. Please make sure to silence anything electronic that could make a noise, whether it be, phones, watches. I don't use pagers anymore outside of doctors. What's a pager? That's the better question. What the heck is that thing? Well, let me tell, anyway. But anything that makes a noise that could possibly alter the feeling of the divine in this space. So we can come here and, as our rabbi so eloquently stated, embrace this beautiful moment. We will continue on page 129. Let's continue. Let's welcome in Shabbat at the very bottom of page 129. Eile chamda libi. Eile chamda libi. Chusana ve'ana tit'alem. Eile chamda libi. Chusana ve'ana tit'alem.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. We're not bringing more chairs because it's dangerous. It'll be too narrow in the bottom. We have chairs here in the front. I'm sorry, guys.
Fire code.
Yeah, we can't have narrower areas.
I mean, I know all the world is a narrow bridge, but we can't narrow that out right now too much.
And it makes me a little nervous because I don't have a way to get out of here. Something should happen. Well, yes, but still.
Fair
It
point.
depends on where it comes from. So.
Ooh, well put. That's true.
No, I don't want that. I think we can make some room over here in the back. Yes, thank you.
Mills.
For everybody to see.
love you,
Thank
man.
you.
You're great. If you now please turn your Sidurim to pages 120 and 121. I know I didn't, actually, I'm curious if Lisa and Itai, I'm wondering if you would help do me an honor and come up to help me light the Shabbat candles. Is it okay? I didn't mean to put anything on the spot. If you do not wish to do so, you can say no, and I will not be mad. Thank you. I'll tell you more. Thank you. Yeah, come on. There you go.
So may we by our lives
We continue welcoming Shabbat together on page 130, words from Psalm 95, Lechu Neranena. Page 138, we will continue with Lechadodi. We're singing stanzas 1, 2, 5, and 9. And Lechadodi is actually an introduction as part of the service. They are a total of 7 psalms for Shabbat. We don't do them all, we just do one. But that was number 1. And number 7 is going to come after Lechadodi. And in the 16th century, in the city of Sefat, there was a group of Kabbalists, and they used to sing the verses of Lechadodi. The story goes that they will go out into the mountains. I don't know how true that is. I don't know if they did it every Friday night or not, but that's what we are told. And they went out, and I was trying to figure out, this is the kind of things that rabbi do sometimes. How did this actually work? How did they know which way to run? In the synagogues, usually you face the entrance to the synagogue, but when you're outside in the fields, which way you run? I found the answer. They ran towards the west, because Shabbat comes in from the west, because that's where the sun sets. Not from Yerushalayim, because Sefat is north of Jerusalem, so they will be facing south. They weren't facing south, and so they will run west and then welcome Shabbat and then go home that way. So beautiful. That's smart, huh?
Agreed.
On their part.
On their part, yes.
So I'm a little turnaround here, so we're gonna use the back as our west, but that's kind of the idea.
I'm directionally impaired right now.
I think that's west. That's west, that's east, so, somewhere in that area. Welcome Shabbat.
Lechadodi likrat kala el Shabbat nekavela lechadodi likrat kala el Shabbat nekavela shalom v'zachor v'limor echad ishmi'anu el hamiuchad Adonai echad Shmo echad l'shem v'tiferet v'litila echad
psalm of this Kabbalat Shabbat Welcome in Shabbat on page 140, Psalm 92, Mizmor Shir L'Yom Shabbat.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות אדוני, ולזמר לשמך העליון, ולזמר לשמך העליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות אדוני, ולזמר לשמך העליון, ולזמר לשמך העליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך ללילות, עלי אסון ועלי אבל, עלי היגיון ופתרון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות אדוני, ולזמר לשמך העליון, ולזמר לשמך העליון, ולזמר לשמך העליון.
We invite you to rise in body or spirit on page 146 for bar.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך, ברוך אדוני המבורך בכל הארץ, ברוך אדוני המבורך בכל הארץ.
We continue together on page 149 in the middle of the page. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, ha'ma'ariv haravim. We continue in the middle of page 151. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol, all these things your Torah gives us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and is. What could be a truer token of your abiding love, that this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. 152.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto le'olam va'ed.
154, you may be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה, אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושענתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, ושבתך בביתך, ולכתך בדרך, ושוכבך ותקומך, וקשרתם באוזנייתך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם, אמת.
מי כמוך is on page 158.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך אין על הקודש, נורא תהילות עושי פלא, נורא תהילות עושי פלא, מלכותך ראו בניך, מוכי הים לפני משה ומרים, זני ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך, לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פתה אדוני את יעקב וגלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני וישראל.
Page 160, you can find the words for Ashkivenu in the Hebrew. If you need the words of this prayer in English, they're a little different than in your prayer book. They are in your program, in your handouts. Ashkivenu.
Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, Hamidenu shomrenu lechaim. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, Hamidenu shomrenu lechaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us with wisdom, compassion, and trust. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, Hamidenu shomrenu lechaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Ashkivenu Adonai,
Shamru at the top of page 162.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ולעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ולעולם. איני ובן בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ולעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ולעולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ולעולם. I love those harmonies.
I love this. I was going to give kudos to Phil. Like,
Yeah!
Like
Yes!
Rachmaninoff has entered the sanctuary. Yasher Koach.
I love your harmonies. They're so much fun. Man, Phil, that's what I need into my soul right now.
Yes. One thing, we've been trying this invitation for all of you that we will do the first three blessings of the Amidah, the standing praying together. Avot, Nimaot, Givot, and the Kedushah. And after that, each person would do their own thing. The cantor and I will remain facing the ark as we reach the end of the Amidah, which is on page 180. We invite you to join us doing that, or you may choose to sit down and finish your private prayers. You can use the words of the Siddur on your own. And again, you may be seated at any time after the Kedushah. And once we're all done doing our own thing, we will join together again with the song and prayer that our cantor will lead. So, if you are able, we invite you to stand and join us on page 164, where the Amidah begins.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agitei latecha. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agitei latecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu Ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor VeHanorah El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Kolei HaKol V'Zocher Chastei Avot V'Imahot U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'neihem Leman Shemo B'Ahava Melech Oser Moshia U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, צומח נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך הסלע. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please continue privately.
עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. Shalom Aleinu El Kol Shalom, Shalom, Shalom yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam.
We now turn our thoughts to those in need of return and healing. We begin with a Mishaberach for those in captivity or whose whereabouts are unknown. It's been 300 days since the tragic events of October 7th, 2023. May the one who blessed Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, Jacob, Leah and Rachel, bless, watch, and guard the captives, men, women, and young children, among the others of the house of Israel, who found themselves in distress and captivity. May Adonai grant mercy upon them, take them out from darkness and gloom, break their chains, redeem them from their ordeals, and return them quickly to the comfort of their families. And may the words of the prophet Isaiah be fulfilled speedily in our own time. Ufeduei Adonai yeshuvun, then the ransom of Adonai shall return. Uvau Tzion berina v'simchat olam al rosham, and come with shouting to Zion, crowned with joy everlasting. Sason v'simcha yasigu v'nasu yagon v'anacha. They shall attain joy and gladness, while sorrow and sighing flee. And together we say, Amen. Our attention now turns closer to home, to those among us who are in need of healing of mind, body, and spirit. We offer these names: Jeannie Friedland, Irv Schwartz, Rose Mailport, Teresa Beagle, Rachel Orris, Connor Brum, Lawrence Krause, Marcia Margolis, Don Goodman, Phyllis Hochberg, Karen Haight, Pam Willenstein, Marilyn Fleischer, Alan Waypoles, Susan Waypoles, Erin Fisk, Annie Fisk. As I go around the sanctuary, I invite you to share names if you are so moved. I'm going to start on this side. Sam Silver. Over here. Reminder, we are adding a prayer in between the first and second stanzas of Mishaberach, so please wait for that. Mishaberach is on page 371. May the one who blessed our ancestors bring blessings of strength, compassion, and healing to those among us who struggle with the oppression of addiction, emotional distress, and mental suffering. Surround them with loving kindness, grace, companionship, and peace.
as those in need of healing, with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say,
In a moment, we will be announcing the new month on page 379. If you'd please turn to that spot. Now, a couple little things about this. One, every month is, a small trivia question, every month is announced save for one. A significant month does not get announced. Out of curiosity, do folks here know which one? Which one? Tishrei, yes! Well, you're a Hebrew teacher.
So we wouldn't do
Not
this,
fair.
or it says on the back.
Oh, hey!
But this means that we're going to have to explain this all over again at the end of Tishrei.
Oh, good point.
Because,
Yeah,
they're going to
because
forget between
gonna
now and Mar Cheshvan.
I don't know about you, but I don't think that Mar Cheshvan is terribly Mar to me. But that's neither here nor there. Now, something else that I find fun to do, at least for me, about announcing a new month, is that I like to use what's called a nigun diyoma, meaning a melody attributed to the day, but in this case, a holiday that happens in the month. If you're able to come up to me after services and tell me what melody I used, you will get a laurel and hearty handshake.
They can park in your parking spot.
They can park in my parking spot, whichever that is.
We don't have
I was going to say, isn't the parking lot mostly
I know, but then let them believe that they can get something out of it.
יהי רצון מלפניך, אדוני אלוהינו, ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, שתחדש עלינו את החודש הבא לטובה ולברכה, ותיתן לנו חיים ארוכים, חיים של שלום, חיים של פרנסה, חיים שתהבנו אהבת תורה ויראת שמיים, חיים שימלאו משאלות ליבנו לטובה, אמן. ראש חודש אב יחיה ביום ראשון ויום שני, יום שני.
We read together, our God and God of our ancestors, may the new moon bring us goodness and blessing. May we have long life, peace, prosperity, a life exalted by love of Torah and reverence for the divine, a life which the longings of our hearts are fulfilled for good. The new month of Av will begin on Sunday. It's coming up August 4th at sunset.
Amen.
Yashar Kwar.
Baruch Tiyeh. Have fun.
Having fun with the Torah. This is how it's called. I used up my jokes last week. I don't have any more, so if you missed it, that's it. Now, some of you may remember that the cycle of reading of the Torah ends and begins with one day. It's the festival of Simchat Torah. However, the actual narrative recounted in the Torah really comes to a halt in this Shabbat Torah portion when we read the last two portions of the book of Numbers. And this year are combined, Matot, Masei, which literally mean tribes and journeys. Now the conclusion of the book of Bemidbar, Numbers, marks really the end of an era. For months now, we have followed the life of Moses and the people of Israel in the wilderness of Sinai. And when we get to this point, the Torah lists every location where our ancestors stopped on their way to the land of Israel. It's like a travel log detailing all the stations where they stopped. Now, according to Parashat Ma'aseh, which is the very last Torah portion, our ancestors stopped at 42 stations from the moment they left Egypt until they arrived at the steppes of Moab. Fear not, I shall not read out loud every one of the 42 stops. Mind you, they're actually mentioned twice. So 42, that's 84. No, you can read them. But they actually do this because they're mentioned when they arrive at a certain point, and then they mention again departing from that point to the next point. Basically, every station has a valuable lesson. So there are at least 42. Again, I may do one today, so you don't have to worry. Now, this summer actually marks my 30th anniversary of my arrival in the United States, in the Golden Medina, as they say. Yes, the Golden Land. It's really a time of celebration for me, and it's also a time of remembering everything that I left behind. Although I did not face persecution, one of the main motivations for me to leave my homeland was to be able to be openly gay and a rabbi at the same time, which back in Argentina in the early 90s was not possible. It's now possible, but no, that's 30 years later. It was really a choice, but at the same time, it was not. As I read the list of the stations that our ancestors stopped at, I cannot but think about my own stations. And again, I won't list them all today, but suffice it to say that some were good and some were not. Perhaps my immigrant condition was why I was asked to contribute to the latest book published by the Central Conference of American Rabbis Press called Prophetic Voices, Renewing and Reimagining the Haftarah, edited by my good friend and colleague, Rabbi Barbara Simons, and I have a copy. You can take a look at it during the Oneg. This book just came out a few months ago, and I was asked to come up with an alternative Haftarah reading for this week's Torah portion, Parashat Ma'aseh, the second of the double Torah portions for this Shabbat. And I chose a poem by Leah Goldberg, very famous Israeli poet, was published in 1955, and it's called Oranim, meaning cypresses. And I'll just read it. It's very short. It's in the sonnet form, like the Italian sonnets. It's 4-4-3-3, if that means anything to anybody. Here I will not hear the call of the cuckoo. Here the tree will not wear a snow cap, but under the shadow of those cypresses, all my childhood which came back to life. The ring of the needles, once upon a time, I will call homeland to the wide expanse of snow, to the eyes, to the greening bordering the brook, to the language of a poem in a strange land. Perhaps only migrating birds know, when they are hanging between heaven and earth, the pain of the two homelands. With you I have been planted twice. With you I have sprouted, O cypresses, but my roots lie on two different landscapes. Parashat Ma'aseh is marked with variations of the Hebrew root Nun Samech Ayin. Everything about moving, things constantly in movement. More than 40 times, we are reminded that the Jewish people sojourned in the wilderness of Sinai, that we were a migrant people, suspended between their physical and their aspirational homelands. Leah Goldberg's poem also uses the same verb in the image of the migrating birds who hang between two polar opposites. The space that inhabits is the realm of in-between, the air. Goldberg imagines that birds, being both air and earth creatures, feel the tension of a painful reminder that they are not fuller either. In the opening stanza, the poet describes the place where she is living as both not her birthplace, but also a place of rebirth. The conifers so prevalent in the forests around the Baltic Sea, where Goldberg grew up, are the link between the two lands. The frozen landscape described in the second stanza alludes to Northern Europe, but still, in line 8, the poem seems ambiguous. The homeland is both birthplace and Eretz Nochria, a strange land. That's what we call Egypt. That was a strange land. Even a committed immigrant cannot escape the realization of having two homelands. Speaking to the cypresses, the poet finally admits a fundamental difference between her and the tree. Whereas the trees are anchored to the soil, the poet/immigrant accomplished the unnatural feat of having roots in two different places. Those of us who are immigrant know that feeling very well. Migrants, both voluntary or forced, cannot cut themselves off completely from the land that saw them grow, even if that same land at one point turned on against them. Immigrants come to America with their homeland wrapped around their tongues. We sound and sometimes dress differently. Some question the migrants' loyalty to their new land. We shouldn't be too literal, though, when we think about the immigrant experience. Even if you were born here in West Michigan and lived here all your life, by casting our lot with the Jewish people, we share in the collective memory of having lived in many lands and having left many lands, often against our will. We're all migrants in one way or another. As a human family, we all came from somewhere else and are going somewhere else too. Life is indeed a journey, always moving physically and spiritually from one place to the next. As the poet indicates, in a new land, we can be planted, grow roots, and sprout. Migrants become part of their land. It becomes their homeland, our homeland. The idea of treating the migrant fairly, the stranger, as the Torah calls them, is deeply rooted in the experience of Jews journeying through the wilderness of Sinai. It is our experience as theirs. We must learn empathy for all migrants, period. The experience of our people's many masa'ot, many journeys, have been preserved and transmitted from generation to generation so that they can teach us empathy for the migrants, for their difficulties, for their feelings of having two homelands. Indeed, empathy for each other. Our individual and collective memory can and should make us sensitive to the plight of those who have been displaced by war or by global warming, so that we will act in a way that values, acknowledges, and more importantly, celebrates their journeys as something that adds value to ours, because every station has value and every journey counts. Have a Shabbat Shalom.
definitely be thinking about this parsha differently, and I'll be thinking of you whenever I read Lech Lecha too.
We join together on page 586. Aleinu l'shabech. We invite you to rise in body or spirit.
Aleinu l'shabeach Adon HaKol, V'teinu la'el Bereshit, shelo asanu k'goyi ha'aratzot, ve'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam elkeinu ma'em, v'kol elkeinu b'chol ha'onam, v'anachnu korim u'mishtachvavim u'modim, לפני המלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמן היה אדוני למלך הארץ, ויום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד,
You may be seated. Our thoughts now turn to those who have departed this earth in recent days. We are observing the Shloshim period for Robert Mailport, stepfather of Krina Dansmore. We also think of those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked. And as we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. On this Shabbat, we remember the following yortzites of members of our congregation: Saul Bach, father of Bert Bach; Wilfred F. Broxerman, father of Pam Rush; Andrew Denon, brother of Peter Denon; Ruth Gitlin, grandmother of Joel Krisoff; Henry Grounbacher, grandfather of Gregory Grounbacher; Molly Kane, mother of Shirley Lewis; Beatrice Margolin, grandmother of Judith Goodman; Shirley Present, mother of Michael Present; Ellen Rowland, mother of Peggy Levin. If you're joining us on this Shabbat and are remembering a loved one, saying Kaddish for them, and I did not mention their names, we invite you to share it now with us. Zichronam livracha, may the memories be for a blessing. Page 598, we invite you to join us as your custom might be, rising in body or spirit for Kaddish Yatom and Mourners Kaddish. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה,
Amen.
בעלמה דברה חימותה וימליך מלכותה, בחייכון ומכון וחיי לכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו
Amen.
יהי שמי רבה מברך ילון
ולעולמי עלמיה.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קודשה ובריחו לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דע אמירם בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום ממרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
Amen. עושה שלום, שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו. עושה שלום, שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל
Time for some thank yous and announcements. Thank you to our wonderful music team, Mild and Phil, and our cantor.
Thank you. I just happened to be here.
You just happen to walk by.
Yeah, it seemed like a nice place to be. Good
As I
people.
mentioned at the very beginning, special thanks for those of you sitting in the first two rows.
Thank you.
We appreciate you very much. This is going to be an ongoing thank you, but thank you.
Please, it gives me the energy I need to do in order to do any of this.
And also, just a brief reminder, if you have not had your bar or bar mitzvah, we will invite you immediately after the service to join the cantor and I for Kiddush and Hamotzi. You get to do that before anybody else, especially the Hamotzi part.
Yeah, the fun part.
So, we have a few more announcements. You can read everything in your program. We want you to take it home with you. We still have space on the coffee and playtime with the Rabbi and Cantor. That's coming up at the end of August. We have some information about a bra drive that we're starting, and then a week from tomorrow, it's going to be our food for thought and real food with the two of us. We want to get a sense of what you would like to study together, Torah study with us. So we're going to do that. That's not the only opportunity, but there are many more. I do have one update. If you here or online sign up for the coffee with me at Stove Top, which is next week, we actually are too many to meet there, so I have to change the location. If you sign up, it will give you a reminder. It's going to be at Orchard House. It's a new one on Michigan, and we have now a room reserved there. We couldn't fit everybody at Stop.
What a wonderful problem to have.
I know. But I'm going to say it again. I'm going to try to put it out there because some of you may not read your email.
These people? No, they all read their emails. Come on.
I am sorry to make that assumption. So, but you should, if you put your email in your cell phone, you should, you're going to get a reminder to tell you where it is. And we're having a temple pop crawl on August 15th. Again, all the info is in here. So, we will turn together to page 625 to sing Adon Olam. If you're able, please join us as you rise in body or spirit. And immediately after that, we're going to move to that area for Kiddush and Hamotzi. All right? So, if you want to sing.
Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol Yetzir Nivra, La'im Nasa. V'katzoko, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra, Adon Olam Asher Malach, B'terem Kol Yetzir Nivra, La'im Nasa V'katzoko, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra, Ve'acharei Yiklot Hakol, Le'ado Im Lo Torah, Ve'hu Haya, Ve'hu Omer, Ve'hu Yeh B'Tivcha, נשא בחפצו אזי מלך שמו נקרא והוא אחד ואין שני להמשילו להכבירה ולי ראשית ולי תכלית ולא העוז והמזרח אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא והוא עיני וחי גואלי וצור חבלי בעת צרה והוא ניסי ומנוס לי מנת כוסי ויום אקרא אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא בידו אף קידוחי בעת ישן ועתירה ואם רוחי יביאתי אדוני לי ולא יירא אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. See you all in there shortly.